can you tell me about your disability? So tell me about how it impacts you, and how you live your life with it.
Yeah, so I have a few disabilities. So the first that I knew about were endometriosis and adenomyosis. I did have both. Um, and I have permanent damage from that. And then I recently, just this year, received an MS diagnosis. And it's a little wonky because the doctor says I don't meet the diagnostic criteria quite yet, which is really common. But I am on treatment for it. A lot of people, they wait a very long time before they get their diagnoses. And on top of that, I have a bunch of comorbidities, as is typical with chronic health issues, but how they impact me today is so the MS and the endometriosis combined over the years were causing health crises that brought me to a point of disability that's like it was completely preventable or avoidable had my health concerns been taken seriously beforehand. But now I'm in a place where I'm trying to stabilize while on treatment for MS. And it's challenging, especially because we've been experiencing a lot of hurricanes and poor weather in Houston. I've lost power several times this summer, which makes my health decline. Like I become non-functional, my entire nervous system just kind of shuts down. Fortunately, it didn't get to a point where I needed to be hospitalized, but it's literally been like trying so hard to get to a place to be productive, and then as soon as I get there, like my body crashes again. So I like right now I feel like I'm in this really scary place where I'm in a lot of gaps. I'm not able to access the resources that I need. I don't have like I'm in a place where I'm worried about losing everything, and it's hard to function and it's hard to get anything done because I just can't move fast enough or long enough for enough productivity, you know?
Yeah, which is really awful. And so how do you navigate, so is it more like obviously being in a natural disaster is terrifying on its own. And then when you have medical conditions that rely on, you need to take your meds at a certain time, and then you need to have power to be a functional human. How is that for you? Sort of I don't know if you have to explain it to people, or is it just like you're on a one track mind to try and survive these episodes of natural disasters?
It's almost like being on a one track mind, staying to survive, except I have maybe like 15% capacity of like my brain power and cognitive function. So is it even a one track mind, you know? Because it's like I can't think, I can't talk. People tell me that like I it's a state of being incapacitated. So it's really hard to express to others the challenges that come with that when it gets that hot. So I fortunately now, after the hurricane that happened earlier this month, I now have an ice vest that helps, and I've been stocking up on ice packs. But it really is hard to articulate to others just how debilitating it is because it's invisible, you know? It's the heat and humidity just makes my entire nervous system like I can't move. I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing. And recovering from that can take time. And then if there are additional stressors or triggers, then it compounds and it takes longer to get better. But I look totally fine. People look at me and they're like, look at you. You look so healthy. Look. And it's like, no, like my insides are not okay. Please help.
And it's like you may look fine on the outside, but you're completely chaotic and dysfunctional on the inside. I'm wondering, in terms of the medical system, how have you been able to navigate that? And I know that might be a really loaded question. If your medical system is anything like the one that we have in Canada, it's horrendous, but you can take that in whatever direction you'd like.
I would agree that the medical system is horrendous here. It's been hard because I've had problematic symptoms and severe pain since I was about 10. And from there, things just got worse. So the assumption is that the endometriosis and adenomyosis symptoms started around that time. What I'll say is like, so ever since I became an adult and moved out to college, I started forcefully trying to get answers. And up until, so from 18 up until I was 30, I didn't have an appropriate diagnosis. And that entire time, essentially, because doctors would say all my symptoms are nonspecific. And now I know it's because the endometriosis and adenomyosis had a lot of their symptomology. And then MS has different symptomology, but a lot of it overlaps. And essentially, my entire body had symptoms. And I kept hearing the whole like essentially calling me a hypochondriac. This is psychosomatic. It's anxiety. Oh, you're bipolar. We need to put you on mood stabilizers. Oh, no, no, we need to do this. And it was just like a constant barrage of being told I'm wrong. What's happening in my body is impossible. People not taking it seriously and having some of the most ridiculous conversations with medical professionals about how to address certain things. So fortunate enough that like I found some great doctors now who I trust with my life, but the struggle I have at the moment is the doctors are brilliant. Their staff can't seem to get anything done. And I end up being the problem person because I'm like, why didn't you turn in my paperwork? I lost access to medication. And I just keep calling till it gets fixed. And then I'm the problem. And I'm like, "Huh."
Well, and then it's like your whole life, not necessarily because of your disabilities, revolves around advocating and trying to get these meds and making sure that somebody has done their job and making sure that you're able to get your what you need on time.
Yeah. And another frustrating thing too is I feel like I've come full circle almost because of the trauma place I'm currently in. Because when I was younger, I learned really quickly that I got punished for competence. If I knew symptomology well enough about my body, if I was trying to put pieces together, doctors, it was like I got punished for knowing things, for being able to like think critically about what's happening in my body. So turning towards like playing dumb and learning how to ask questions in a specific way and just like the different strategies that a lot of people have with doctors to try to get our needs met. And I got to a place where like because I am a social worker myself, so very ironic, and a reality of what it's like for a lot of people who work in these professions. But where was I going with this? This is happening a lot. I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, but now, so like I got to a place where I was comfortable just being authentic and being like, hey, I'm educated. This is the struggle that I've had. This is the medical PTSD that I have. This is the kind of dynamic I expect to have, and feeling really competent in how I interacted with doctors. And now I feel like I've come full circle almost in that like my competence is being punished and I'm not getting anything done without being treated with some kind of like attitude or like I'm harassing staff or something unless I'm playing dumb. Being like,
Hmm.
oh, hey, 3 weeks ago, this paper was supposed to be sent in. Do we know what's going on about that? Rather than being like, hey, I called 3 weeks ago for this paperwork to be turned in and I was just notified it wasn't. Can we please address this? For some reason, that latter response, like people are responding more negatively to now, and I don't understand.
And it's like when you have to modify your approach just to get something that you need, it's like what's the point? What are we even doing? And
Yeah.
I'm wondering where you mentioned that you had a few good doctors. Is there, I don't know if you would call them a community, but is there, where have you found the greatest sense of community in and amongst all of this chaos? Or have you found any community?
Um, I have actually lost a majority of the community I built. Um, and it it just never ceased to amaze me that like because I was in a cycle of having a like catastrophic health crisis every year. Um, and every year just people started disappearing. So now like it's the sense of support that I feel is literally like my two best friends and some other another like a small close knit group of people that I think I can count on.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so it's like when you're undergoing these crises or you're trying to navigate the system and something's not working, these people are the ones that you'll reach out to.
Yeah, and I have my therapist because, like, over the years, I used to have more people I could reach out to because I also understand everyone has their limits, right? And I can't be trauma dumping on my friends and crying all day, every day. You know, not that I do, but it's just like we've all got our limits and we all need to preserve our spoons.
Hmm.
Um, and it's just like over the years through the crises, I've had less people I can turn to.
Hmm.
So now I have my therapist. I mean, I've been seeing my therapist since October, and she's a great support as well. Um, Oddly enough, my attorney too. So just like unusual people in my life.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's so funny.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and so in and amongst all this chaos, like I don't know if you've been able to, like, what are you passionate about? What do you find joy in doing when you're not navigating and trying to figure out what the hell is going on?
So at the moment, my entire life is crisis survival mode. Um, Before the most immediate issues happened, I worked in the social justice sphere, and like everything I did was around social justice. My career goals were around health equity. Before my health got Before it got to the point where I couldn't manage like work-life balance, you know, because that's a thing. And I was able to have hobbies. I used to love painting and drawing and crocheting and making all kinds of things and reading. But if I'm being completely honest with you, I literally don't have any time for anything that is fulfilling at the moment. It is all, how do I make it through today every single day? So I feel like I'm in the Bermuda Triangle, and like I think this is something maybe a lot of people with chronic illness or disability can relate to, because it's just every phone call I make for help is a dead end. People say, like, I'll call these organizations, these nonprofits, and they'll say we can help with XYZ 1 2 3, and then like people won't call me back, nothing will get moved forward. It seems like I'm getting blacklisted because I actually can't get through with my phone number anymore, but I can with anyone else's phone. And then they like dump me to a different nonprofit who then is like, okay, we'll help you. Great. Okay, I'm so sorry you went through this. And then overnight, it's like, we can't help you with anything, but we can send you back to the first place to help you with these things that they initially said they were going to help you with, but they just didn't. And I'm just like, why am I wasting my time? Like, do you guys are MS based foundations. Do you understand the issues with energy and malaise and stress, right? So why are you dumping me from boat to boat when you know I like you're telling me to swim back and forth when I can't swim? I don't understand what's happening. So
Yeah. And that's a huge point, right? Like so much of, I mean, it's different, but so much of having an invisible disability is finding the bloody resources for somebody to just help you, right? And I think that we need to do better as a society of being like, okay, maybe this isn't all in this person's head, and maybe we should actually do some tests and find some resources for this person to maybe feel a bit better in on the inside.
yeah, yeah.
And what, so you created your current Instagram profile, and you're you're advocating a ton on there and sharing your experiences. What are your ultimate goals with it? Like what would be, your top dream? Would it be for, I don't know, I don't even know where I'm going with that question, but I always find it curious where people what they want to do with their Instagram pages.
In the United States and how the medical system got to where it is, and like the roots of the problems that we're seeing, and like I had different themes for it, like don't trust fake doctors or something, don't trust fake experts or something like that. And then another one was like shit people say, which is a variety of like
Mhm.
supportive versus non-supportive things. And as the months kept going on, like and it didn't work out. What I was hoping to do was to use that in the meantime to like continue to build my expertise and like build partnerships and work with others in the space of health equity, and figure out how to utilize that to advance my career in that space moving forward. Because I particularly want to work in policy around it, or being able to make like large changes in that way. So it's not just like direct services where sure I might be able to help you, but then you go out into the world and there's an infinite number of barriers still existing and you're going to come right back tomorrow. Like I
Hmm.
wanted to change like the laws and what's available to people. So now I'm in a spot where I'm just kind of like I'm trying to find stability, and I will reassess then.
Like, nobody knows the fucking algorithm. Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna like it's just be yeah, I don't know. I tend to get like really hung up on it and then I'm just
Mhm.
like, just take a pill, just go for a walk, just like go live your real life and then come back to it.
Yeah.
It's a weird game and I don't know, for me it's like, at the same time, it's created a huge community for me where it's like, okay, I like there are other people like me. I'm not the only one who thinks this or whatever it might be. So, yeah. Um, I just have one more question,
Okay.
and it's super broad. And do you have any stories that you would like to share, or any messages that you would like to share? And you can take that however you would like.
I think it's important to remember doctors practice medicine. Doctors are not the experts on your body. Like every individual person is the expert of their body. And if something doesn't feel right, trust it and keep looking for answers, because doctors make mistakes. Everybody's understaffed and underpaid and everything's falling apart. So like we really are the best advocates for our own health, and it's not fair that the burden is on the patient to navigate systems created for us to fail. But just like when things get hard, remember to like, your body best, it's best for you, and your body knows when something's not right. So just trust your body.